Nobody does warfare like Call of Duty. Over the years, we've seen the long-running series run the gauntlet from World War II to the solar system, with virtually everything in between. However, not all games are created equal. So which is the cream of the crop, and which doesn't quite shoot straight? Let's wade through the trenches to find out as we rank every Call of Duty game from worst to best. Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts. While developers Treyarch were hard at work creating a new game for the PlayStation 3, Wii, and Xbox 360, Oxford-based game creators Rebellion Developments Limited were tasked with providing the outdated PlayStation 2 with its own rendition. The result is Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts, and it's the worst Call of Duty to date. Both enemy and friendly AI are atrociously stupid, and the way they look on the outside isn't much better. The graphics were bad by late PS2 standards. These days, they look even worse. The campaign is painfully easy, except when your own CPU-controlled squad mates push you out from cover and directly into the line of fire. And with no multiplayer, most players didn't stick around for long. Call of Duty Finest Hour. Released for all the main consoles in 2004, Call of Duty Finest Hour was nothing more than a bland, simplified version of what PC gamers had running on their machines. Instead of focusing on one character, Spark Unlimited's entry into the series has players bouncing between 3 forgettable soldiers from 3 different World War II armies. A distinct lack of checkpoints often put a damper on the fun, especially when dealing with some absurdly long escort missions. In most ways, Finest Hour would have been finer had it followed in the original Call of Duty's footsteps. It wasn't a total failure, of course, as the game lets players take control of tanks and featured a particularly interesting North African campaign. However, with no shortage of first-person shooters available on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox, Finest Hour is barely worth mentioning. Call of Duty Ghosts. With the launch of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, 2013 saw Call of Duty Ghosts bridge the gap between console generations. Unfortunately, the bridge it built wasn't one for the record books. The fact that Ghosts is still objectively a very good game is a testament to just how strong the franchise really is. The single-player campaign is as action-packed as ever, but lacks both the star power of future titles and memorable moments of past installments. The story's big reveal is downright laughable, and it only goes downhill from there.
Dad! This whole time, you were one of them. You're a ghost.
Try the ghost! That's your commanding officer.
Online, the implementation of field orders was more distracting than anything, serving only to encourage individually minded play. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Going down as perhaps the most hated entry to date, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was maligned as soon as it was revealed, perhaps unfairly so. 2016 was an epic year for shooters. It saw the releases of Doom, Titanfall 2, Gears of War 4, Battlefield 1, and Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Amidst such a sea of quality competitors, Infinite Warfare failed to stand out from the crowd. The blockbuster campaign fell victim to some pacing issues, and even Game of Thrones star Kit Harington failed to make a lasting impression.
That is why you cannot win.
Worse yet, the multiplayer might have even been a downgrade from the previous year's Call of Duty Black Ops 3, though throwing zombies in space was just outrageous enough to work. Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. The series' console dominance officially started with Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1, though there was still plenty of room to grow. By focusing on telling the story of America's fighting 1st Infantry Division, Treyarch's supplement to Call of Duty 2 provided, for the first time, the action-packed playable war movie the series is now known for. Gameplay mechanics were tight, the action was heavy, and the missions were visually stunning, though the story itself wasn't particularly award-worthy. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Things were looking promising for Call of Duty Black Ops 3. The implementation of a specialist system changed online multiplayer for the better, allowing players the ability to explore a wide range of characters with unique advantages and disadvantages. Black Ops 3's new film noir take on their now patented zombie mode was as fresh and unique as it was challenging.
You got my wife beat? She only has 2 faces!
The new Nightmare mode was also a plus, putting their cookie-cutter campaign to shame. In fact, the single-player campaign is one of the worst of the series, ultimately weighing this game down. Call of Duty Black Ops. The first Call of Duty Black Ops was met with mixed reviews. Optimists praised the game's single-player campaign, while naysayers found Treyarch's attempt at making a psychological thriller a little clumsy.
It appears the Pentagon has been breached.
Zombies.
Gentlemen, at times like these, our capacity to retaliate must be and has to be massive to deter all forms of aggression.
Where Black Ops really shined, however, was online. Treyarch built upon the series' already well-established online multiplayer by implementing both a currency and contract system. Wager matches upped the ante for those who were interested, combat training made multiplayer enjoyable for anyone, and the return of a zombies mode rounded out the very solid package. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Released in 2014, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare featured an excellent campaign, packed with near-futuristic weaponry and powerful exosuits. The introductory missions were among the best in the series' history, with a modernized South Korea providing a beautiful backdrop to shoot down clouds of drones. However, the story itself ultimately fell flat and definitely didn't warrant a second playthrough, even with Kevin Spacey as the primary bad guy.
And that's where I come in.
Call of Duty 3. With this entry in the franchise, Treyarch took the great gameplay mechanics of Call of Duty 2 and made them even better for 7th-generation consoles. Call of Duty 3 first gave players the ability to throw enemy grenades back, while also selectively adding in some timed button sequences to spice things up. The campaign itself was stunningly gorgeous for its time. Combined with a beautiful score, Call of Duty 3's presentation made for one of the most cinematic playable war experiences ever seen at that point. Call of Duty 3 also started to properly build the foundations for its online multiplayer, setting up the experience that gamers would enjoy for years to come. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Treyarch took Call of Duty Black Ops 2 where no entry in the franchise had gone before, into the future. Nothing about the gameplay was particularly advanced compared to earlier entries in the series, but Black Ops 2 does deserve credit for featuring branching storylines and multiple endings.
He's just a sad old man talking to himself. Let him talk.
The multiplayer, meanwhile, refined everything Call of Duty had done up to that point. Changing kill streaks to score streaks rewarded team-oriented play, and the majority of the maps were brilliantly designed, which all helped justify the game's success on the market. Call of Duty. It has to start somewhere, and in Call of Duty's case, it started in 2003 with a PC-only World War II shooter largely modeled after the Medal of Honor series. Amidst a sea of World War II games flooding the first-person shooting space, the series' debut stood out as one of the most authentic, action-packed, and fun to play. Instead of rewriting the book, Call of Duty simply relied on tight mechanics, solid single-player, and top-notch graphics. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Coming in as the worst of the Modern Warfare series is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which is still miles better than even the best Black Ops title. Modern Warfare 3's single player is its biggest triumph, as well as its greatest flaw. For the first time, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer got the scripting right, correctly balancing the story with non-stop shoot-'em-all action. But while the solo campaign is exciting and interesting, co-op mode has the least amount of variety, with no unique gameplay elements in place to change up the pace. By this point, however, Call of Duty's online component had become its claim to fame, and Modern Warfare 3 delivered in a big way. You'd be hard-pressed to find a single level which isn't objectively brilliant, and balancing tweaks made the game more fair than ever. Call of Duty 2. It's easy to forget that there was once a time when high-profile cinematic war experiences weren't available to play on your home console every single year. Call of Duty 2 was one of the first games to truly realize this vision. The jump to higher resolution made the brutality more real than ever. With solid online and split-screen multiplayer laying the groundwork for the future, Call of Duty 2 remains one of the finest World War II games ever created. Call of Duty World War II. It was nearly a decade since the Call of Duty series last returned to its roots, but 2017's Call of Duty World War II does so in spectacular fashion. The campaign was heart-poundingly intense and felt more grounded than many of its competitors. Lending further realism to the campaign was the removal of regenerating health, forcing you to use med packs in order to heal your battle wounds, in addition to relying heavily on squad mates for assistance. No wall jumping, no futuristic weapons. All that remained was a classic, grounded multiplayer shooter with extremely well-designed maps. And rounding out the package was a revamped Nazi zombies mode. The Nazi experiments were more grotesque than ever, and with multiple ways to progress through the campaign, there was something for zombie fans everywhere. Call of Duty World at War. Released in 2008, Call of Duty World at War was the last game in the franchise set in World War II for nearly 10 years, and it remains a fine example of everything great about the series. While not everyone was a fan of World at War's multiplayer, the title also lays claim to creating a franchise staple, zombies. To this date, little can match the excitement and terror of holding down a boarded-up building while wave after wave of Nazi zombies descended upon you from all directions. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. As the second best Call of Duty game, Modern Warfare 2's campaign maintained the excellent standard of quality fans had come to expect from the series, with action-packed set pieces and enough drama to keep you on your toes. However, the campaign was just a bit too short, and the story itself wasn't nearly as cohesive as its predecessor. Where Modern Warfare 2 manages to actually surpass every other title is in its online multiplayer. Revamping the loadout system allowed for more gun combinations, and customizable kill streak rewards permanently changed the game for the better. All this helped make Modern Warfare 2's online multiplayer the best in the series. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This isn't only the greatest game in the series, it's arguably one of the greatest games ever made. The single-player campaign is absolutely packed with memorable moments, from the ghillie suit mission to the heart-stopping nuke twist.
We have a confirmed nuke. Everyone hang on!
And while previous entries laid the groundwork for solid online multiplayer, Modern Warfare all but perfected the system with lightning-fast respawn times and near-perfect mechanics. It was practically impossible to put down, and truly made Call of Duty's online multiplayer the staple it is today. Modern Warfare is so revered by fans, Activision even remastered it in 2016, proving that the game is just as good today as it was in 2007. Thanks for watching. Click the SVG icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.